We have the facility here, the hopper bins. These are 1,260 cubic feet hopper bins. These two might be expanded, or all of them might be expanded 200 cubic feet if needed to hit that 30-ton mark, or whatever is needed to get the size to fit the 125% of a truckload, depending on how many tons are on a truckload. So they hold 26 ton now at 40 pounds a cubic foot. So if the product weighs 45 pounds a cubic foot, that's a couple more ton, and possibly expand them just a couple foot taller to get what we need. So here we have the storage bin, corn storage bin. And to go through this system on how it works, we have a grinding, two separate processes here. So we have two automations in a automation panel. We have the corn grinding, which will probably be something that you do like after you're done in the evening. You'll hit start the corn grinding, and then it will grind corn for a couple hours to grind what's needed. Possibly during the day, like when you're done mixing for the day. There'll be a K valve right here and a valve up here on top of the elevator. Both them valves will need to be in the right position. There'll be proximity switches that watch them with the automation. And those valves in the correct position, you'll hit start grinding on the automation panel, and the elevator will start. The auger going from the hammer mill to the elevator. The hammer mill will start the auger feeding the hammer mill, and the bin unload. The bin unload will speed up or slow down as needed to keep the flow right, to keep the hammer mill speed, to keep it grinding at the right amps. And then when this bin gets full, there'll be a full switch on top of this. Nope. This bin. This is the ground corn bin. When this bin gets full, there'll be a full switch on top here that when it gets full, it will shut down the grinding sequence. Bin unload will stop, mill feed auger will stop, mill will stop, mill unload auger will stop, and then elevator will stop. And then you will need to flip this valve on top of this hammer mill and switch the valve in the elevator. There'll be cable controls to the ground for that. You have to go out, switch that valve, switch this valve. Then you'll tell the controls how many pounds of feed you want to make. Say you want to make 20 ton or 25 ton of a certain recipe. You pre-program the recipes into the automation, and then you walk up, you select the recipe you want to make and how many pounds you want to make of that recipe. It will start with putting ground corn, protein, your two concentrates in, and salt, and possibly some whole corn, depending on the recipe, on what ingredient and how much of each ingredient that go into the mixer. It will mix, it will start the elevator, and it will unload the mixer into the elevator, which will dump it into the finished feed bin. It will repeat this batching process to complete the total pounds that you entered into the automation, and it will mix however many pounds it can, or however many pounds you told it to, until it has all that weight mixed. If there was a mistake and this bin was to get full, if you typed in the wrong amount of weight and this bin got full, it will show it's full with the full switch and shut down. If an ingredient runs out, if your salt runs out, or one of your ingredients for some reason would run out while mixing, where it does not reach the desired weight, then it will pause the mixing system. So if it ran out of salt, it'll pause the mixing system. You come in, the mixing system will be paused, you switch the bag out and hit resume, and it goes back to mixing the feed that you told it to mix. Each of these 4 bins will have a radar sensor in the top, and from the automation you will be able to see how full the bin is, how full it is from bottom to top, like what percentage it is. And these 2 here will just be for monitoring, and then at a certain level we will have a indicator where it will turn an indicator on saying you need to reorder this ingredient. And these bins here will have a full limit on that indicator, and we can put other indicators in here also, where if it hits a certain level it puts a light on. So that way if you're not grinding every time you mix, it can turn a light on saying, hey, this is getting low, you need to hit start the next time you mix feed. So you'll be able to keep track of your inventory with them radar level sensors. Out here, this feed is going to cut the mixed feed, come up this 10-inch auger to go into the truck, and that auger will be controlled with a remote, so the driver can control that from the seat of his truck, or if he's up on the front of the trailer looking how full it is, he can see how much he wants in, and he can start and stop that auger as needed. This building is drawn as, I'm just going to check here, but it's drawn as 28 foot by, shows 49 foot there, 48 foot. I was thinking 48 by 28, but let's try that again from this corner. Yeah, 30 foot. 30 foot by 48. Okay, something was off there on that corner. But 30 foot by 48 foot this building is. In here, each of these represent a pallet or a super sack. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 3 is 24, 25. 26th one is in the bag rack. And there was talk about possibly a little electrical building inside here, little electrical room, control room, which could easily be. If we put the electrical room in here, we'll want to move this door over some probably, so that you can go straight in from here to the bag stand. And then at that point, if you had that room in here, you would possibly stack some bags over here, or it would work like this because you're going to come in this way to here, and you could have a little room along this side over here. Then you may move this over a little bit, but the 48 by 30 foot should be close to enough room to hold a semi-load of salt and have a control room in here. Don't have to, can just have the main panel right here on the wall and work from there. So that's what we got. These bins here, I think I said they hold 1,260 cubic feet, I think. And we're going to look at the mixer. The earlier drawings showed a drum mixer, did some reviewing. They are not, I'm used to using this brand, and this brand has done very well in commercial type settings. So this brand will work many, many years. The drum style, talked to some different people who run them in this type of setting, and they are definitely not the quality. So I moved away from that design. This bag stand is also a bag stand that I've used in a lot of facilities. We're going to review them here. This here is the bag stand that we would be using, this style right here with the hopper, stainless steel. And then if we look here, this is the mixer style. So it's a tub type mixer with a ribbon and gate on the bottom, electric gate to dump into an auger, on weigh cells for weighing, and lid on top to contain dust. Not sure, I think they have quoted with a lid on top, not exactly sure on that, but then we would have to plumb the augers into it. So that's the type of mixer that's going in there, and that's the type of bag stand that's going in there, this style right here. So that way you can still have some salt in the hopper when you replace the bag. That way you don't have to be empty to replace the bag. You can replace the bag while there's still salt in there. So I believe that just about describes it. I think that's all the details we need. This cracked corn auger, ground corn auger, whatever you want to call it, is an 8-inch. The rest of these yellow augers are 6-inch augers. So yeah, we'll empty that mixer with 8-inch. I'm thinking we should be able to, it should mix about 8 ton an hour with this setup. That would be my goal, is to mix 8 ton an hour. So I know that wasn't something we had discussed, although when it's mixing you don't need to be present. You can come in, tell it to mix, and leave. Or after you're done loading what you mixed the day before, you can tell it to mix the next truckload and go deliver that truckload and have it mixed when you get back. It runs itself, so it'll mix all on its own when you're not around, but it is good to check on it, because if the salt would run out or if an ingredient would run low or something, you're gonna want to stop and check on it. Like, yes, it's fully automated, but there are things that may need done, like swap out the super sack. So there we have that. These bins are flat roof with the railing around the eave, which is really nice. If you need to go up there, you can access everything very nicely. And they're a 10-foot in diameter tank, so they don't have to be as tall. So there you have that. That seems like pretty much everything we got going on.